The liberties of our country, the freedom of our civil constitution, are worth defending at all hazards, and it is our duty to defend them against all attacks. Samuel Adams. Welcome to We the Government, where we rip the veil off government spending to show you exactly where your hard-earned tax dollars are going. By the time you retire, roughly 35% of your lifetime income will have been surrendered to taxes. Let that sink in. More than a third of your life's work, handed over to a government that promises to serve you. Picture this: you're scraping together change at the gas pump, stressed about rising grocery prices, and wondering how you can afford your child's braces. Meanwhile, the government is tossing your tax dollars into a bonfire of waste. Over $4 trillion is collected annually in taxes, yet instead of helping you, this money is used for bureaucratic indulgences, failed projects, and lavish luxuries. You're not just being robbed, you're being disrespected. They don't just mismanage your money, they mock your struggles while living extravagantly on your dime. Today, we'll uncover jaw-dropping examples of waste and mismanagement that will make your blood boil. We're going in, so buckle up. While you were clipping coupons, the State Department was laughing all the way to the bank, literally. In 2023, they spent nearly $100,000 on a comedy tour in India to promote free speech. Think about that. Your money wasn't used to fix crumbling infrastructure or provide better health care. It funded stand-up routines halfway across the world. It's hard not to see this as an insult. Families across the US struggle to put food on the table, yet bureaucrats think it's appropriate to spend your taxes on international comedy. Wouldn't it be hilarious if the joke wasn't on us? That $100,000 could have provided scholarships for struggling students, funded community mental health programs, or repaired hundreds of miles of rural roads. And this isn't just a one-off. These kinds of public diplomacy efforts often feature lavish spending with questionable returns. If the government spent as much time fixing America's problems as it did entertaining foreign audiences, maybe we wouldn't be staring down record-high debt levels. Imagine working at a kitchen table held together by duct tape while the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, spends $92 million on office furniture. Yes, $92 million on desks, ergonomic chairs, and custom designs. One table reportedly cost tens of thousands of dollars. It's a daily slap in the face, while Americans drive on pothole-riddled roads, rely on outdated public transit, or send their kids to schools with leaky roofs. Bureaucrats are luxuriating in offices decked out like palaces. That $92 million could have repaired thousands of miles of highway, funded hundreds of scholarships, or given every American family a small tax rebate. When people ask why public services aren't improving despite rising taxes, this is the answer. The government doesn't prioritize you, they prioritize their comfort and convenience. The Department of Veterans Affairs, VA, embarked on a $10 billion project to modernize electronic health records. Sounds great, right? Wrong. The system barely works, leaving veterans in limbo as they wait for essential care. This isn't just wasteful, it's cruel. The brave men and women who served this country deserve better. They're already fighting to reintegrate into society, often grappling with PTSD, homelessness, and unemployment. Now, they're stuck in a system that crashes more often than it helps. $10 billion, let that sink in. That money could have funded affordable housing for veterans, expanded access to mental health services, or even reduced your tax bill. Instead, it vanished into the black hole of government incompetence, leaving our nation's heroes and taxpayers betrayed. And the kicker? There's no accountability. Projects like this get abandoned, but the contractors who failed walk away with millions in taxpayer money. When Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, Congress allocated $3 billion for recovery efforts. But a 2023 audit revealed that much of this money disappeared into a web of shady contracts and mismanagement. Entire communities were left waiting for aid that never came. This isn't just neglect, it's outright theft. Americans expect their tax dollars to be used wisely, especially in times of crisis. But instead of building stronger levees, repairing homes, or providing emergency supplies, the funds vanished. Families in Puerto Rico were left to fend for themselves while the government's promises evaporated. Imagine what $3 billion could have achieved: flood-proofing homes, rebuilding schools, or creating emergency relief funds to protect families from future disasters. Instead, it evaporated into thin air, leaving disaster victims and taxpayers high and dry. The Pentagon is no stranger to overspending, but the $20 million surveillance blimp debacle takes the cake. This high-tech airship never even got off the ground and now sits in storage as a glorified paperweight. Meanwhile, soldiers on the front lines lack essential gear, and veterans are left homeless. The irony is bitter. The people who risk their lives for this country are let down, while bureaucrats funnel billions into failed projects. If the government redirected that $20 million, it could have equipped troops with better armor, funded veteran housing programs, or even lowered defense-related taxes. Instead, it's another example of how wasteful spending directly undermines those who protect our nation. Every year, over $1 billion is spent maintaining government buildings that have been vacant for decades. These relics of the Cold War sit idle, draining resources while Americans struggle with skyrocketing rents and limited housing options. Think about the possibilities. Those properties could be sold or repurposed into affordable housing, community centers, or even job training facilities. Instead, they remain empty monuments to government neglect, while taxpayers foot the bill. It's an unforgivable waste. While young families struggle to afford their first homes and elderly Americans are pushed out of their communities, the government sits on assets that could change lives. Research is important, but some projects defy explanation. In 2022, the government spent $500,000 to study whether taking selfies boosts self-esteem. Spoiler alert, it does, but did we really need $500,000 to confirm what teenagers on Instagram already know? This isn't just embarrassing, it's infuriating. That money could have funded cancer research, provided grants for renewable energy projects, or expanded access to mental health care. Instead, it went toward a study that offers little value to the average American, and these kinds of frivolous studies aren't isolated incidents. They're symptoms of a government that's lost sight of its priorities. Federal employees are living the high life on your dime, spending $150 million annually on first-class flights, luxury hotels, and extravagant conferences. One agency even dropped $50,000 attending a luxury fair in Paris. Meanwhile, millions of Americans are canceling vacations just to make ends meet. Imagine if that $150 million were used to stabilize gas prices, improve public transit, or provide rebates for electric vehicles. Instead, it funds champagne and caviar for bureaucrats, and while you're pinching pennies, they're sipping champagne. If this doesn't make your blood boil, nothing will. Every dollar the government wastes is a dollar stolen from your dreams, whether it's buying your first home, sending your kids to college, or enjoying a well-earned retirement. The problem isn't just waste, it's systemic disrespect for the people who work hard to fund this country. But here's the good news, you have the power to demand change. Share this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the like button to keep spreading the word. Together, we can expose waste, hold leaders accountable, and ensure that your tax dollars work for you, not against you.